Good evening, and welcome to the U Talk Show, where we have always been at war with East Asia.
What? Is that it? Did you just-
Kyle would like
um,
to tell us about the real enemies we face. So, please join us for a trip down the memory hole. Kyle,
hole. Um, yes, I did that. So, who is the real enemy? I mean, if you've been watching us for a while, this should be obvious. But let's set the scene. Basically, in politics, we all keep getting screwed over, and it's not by each other. All right, as much as there are people out there who do believe that, people who will espouse that it's the leftists that are the problem, it's the rightists that are the problem. It's not. It's not them. It's not you either. I mean, there are problems with all of you, that's for sure. But you are not the
wow.
problem. Hey, everyone's got problems. Everyone's got issues, myself included. See, we keep getting pitted each other against each other so much that we can't even talk about issues without one of us either feeling attacked or some other portion of the population feeling the need to attack that person or that group. This is kind of, in a way, what we were getting into with our thoughts about Man Week. This was kind of what I was touching on in a sense. But this episode is not about identity politics. It's not about how identity politics is pitting us against each other. We know that. We've
Do
talked
we
about it
though?
already. We've talked about it more than 3 times. But the thing is, we are told that we do need to pick sides. We need to pick the left, or the right, or you know, progressives, conservatives. Buzzwords are thrown around, yes. And we are told that we need to pick these sides that have been pre-built for us. They're entirely artificial. We need to ask the question, cui bono? To whom does it benefit? Who does it benefit if we are fighting each other and not solving any problems, overcoming challenges, or actually tackling real issues? Who benefits from that? Usually, I would give people a chance to come to the conclusion themselves, perhaps lending more and more information as time goes on to help them doing that. But, well, we don't have anywhere for people to call in. We don't have a way for people to do that. And this isn't live anyway, so we couldn't do that even if we did. So I'll just spell it out for you. The real enemy is a corrupt corporate elite whose greed is given priority in the distribution of resources over the very real human interest that we all share in. We human beings are society. We create this society. And they are not in it. They live separately from it while puppeting us to fight against each other, to keep us distracted while they rob all of the wealth in the world from us. They use corruption as their tool. Corruption of government through political donations, in effect, legalized bribery. And they are separate from society. They do not have to live in it because they have the wealth to do that. Instead, acting as parasites on society, with our tax dollars going towards catering to them. The resources that we all put in to society ends up going towards them. whether it be building infrastructure for another coal mine, another set of gas wells, another port for them to export their fossil fuels, or on the opposite end, of that, their stopping of renewable energy projects. Give a couple of politicians here just enough money, they vote against it. And it gets worse than that. Spending on schools, hospitals, right? Education and healthcare are necessary for a thriving society.
Of
But we
course,
lose
they're
out on
investments.
quality. Yeah, but we lose out on the money needed for that investment because of a corrupt, or rather a corrupting corporate elite. They are parasites on society, and they are the real enemy. They are oligarchs in all but name.
What would it take for us to call them oligarchs? Where is the distinction? Because I don't know, people doing shady stuff, enjoying a monopoly on wealth and power, or an oligopoly, as the case may be.
To be an oligarch, you need to be able to control society through your wealth. They do so. They are oligarchs. We just don't call them that. We call them business leaders.
Hey, at
Much
least we
like
don't
how
call
we
them influencers.
another group of people that I hate, but for very different reasons. But that's another story. If it were any other country that we were talking about, we would call them oligarchs, not business leaders. Much in the same way that if it were any other country we were talking about, we would not call it political donations, we would call it bribery. And this
Strong words
needs
out of
to
the gate.
stop. Out of the gate, I'm ending on that. There's nothing more that needs to be said. I don't care if this video is 3 minutes long. That's what I wanted to say. Do you wish to add anything?
If there is any hope, it lay in the proles.
Just had to make it slightly communistic. I mean, you're not wrong, but God,
Mate, I am bookending this. I am starting this with a quote from 1984, and I am ending it with a quote from 1984. There is no war in Ba Sing Se.
Yeah. All right. We're going to end it there.
Good night.